Good morning, Bhargav. Today is Friday, August 18th, and here's the heads up briefing for today. In Australasia and the Pacific Islands, we covered 9 issues. In North Asia, 6 issues. In Southeast Asia, we covered 19 issues, along with 19 issues also in South Asia and the major developments in the EMEA region.
Hey, Bassel, thank you. Let's go ahead with the major developments today.
Starting off with Australasia and the Pacific Islands, in New Zealand, a majority of the country is forecasted to experience heavy rains over the weekend due to a low pressure area. So areas like Westland and Mount Taranaki will be under an orange rain warning from 4 p.m. local time tomorrow until 11 a.m. on August 20. Meanwhile, Fiordland is expected to experience strong gusts of wind for 10 hours beginning at 4 p.m. local time tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
In Japan, around 28 trains were cancelled and over 160 trains were delayed due to heavy rainfall caused by Typhoon Lan yesterday. The Central Japan Railway said over 210,000 travelers using the services between Tokyo and Shin Osaka were affected by the disruptions.
All right, thank you.
In Southeast Asia, the political turmoil continues in Thailand. The United Thai Nation Party and the Ruam Thai Sang Chart Party announced yesterday that they will join the coalition led by the Pheu Thai Party in Thailand. With the inclusion of these two parties, this elevates the PTP, which is the Pheu Thai Party-led coalition, total seats to 274. In addition, some other parties actually is supporting the PTP's candidate, Sretha Thavisin, and this will push the coalition's vote to 314. However, the PTP still needs to get over the 376 vote mark to nominate Sretha for the prime minister position.
That's an interesting development. It seems positive for the Pheu Thai Party's coalition. So, Bassel, when is the vote for prime ministerial election?
So the vote will take place on August 22nd.
All right, let's keep a close eye on these developments and keep our clients updated, especially monitor the developments on the streets if there are any protests for or against Pheu Thai Party's coalition.
Okay, sure, Bhargav. Moving over to the Philippines, at least 10,000 security personnel will be deployed to Davao City in Davao del Sur for the Kadayawan Festival tomorrow and on August 20.
All right, thank you.
Moving over to South Asia and Pakistan, Section 144 of the Code of Criminal Procedure has been imposed across Faisalabad in Punjab province until August 22nd. The prohibitory order temporarily bans gatherings, meetings, rallies, and sit-ins across the district.
All right, this is a very tense situation, and the Christians in the country have been targeted time and again for various things, especially forced conversions, as well as using the blasphemy laws in the country, which is very controversial to say the least. Christians amount to about 4 million out of 250 million population in Pakistan, and this we can actually underline a common problem across South Asia where Christians are targeted, especially in the lower strata of the community, economically speaking. So, Bassel, let's keep a close eye on this. There is a likelihood that this will evolve into mass protests, like we saw in 2018 and 19 when one of the Christian laborers was accused of blasphemy, and that led to nationwide protest.
Sure, Bhargav, we'll keep a close eye on that. In Bangladesh, the BNP, which is the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, will conduct demonstrations in all major cities across the country today against the Awami League-led government. So the protests will take place in Dhaka, mostly. The BNP Dhaka South City Unit will start a procession from Doyaganj Road and move towards the BNP's headquarters in Naya Paltan. However, in the north of the city, the BNP North City unit will begin its rally from the Gulshan DCC and supermarket and move towards the Mohali bus terminal in Dhaka.
All right. It is interesting that BNP is trying to muster as much support as possible by forcefully organizing these rallies across the country before the elections next year. But what puzzles me is that there is no leadership to speak of among the opposition parties. And it will be interesting to see who will come out as a prime ministerial candidate among the BNP's shattered leadership.
Moving over to the EMEA region, in Ukraine, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky signed a decree extending martial law and general mobilization for 90 days. The law becomes effective as of today and will last until November 15th this year.
It is inevitable to note that this doesn't really come as a surprise. The country is being invaded and country is perpetually fighting its biggest neighbor. So it was expected that there will be a martial law within the country. And the dictatorial tendencies of Zelensky was very much evident even before the invasion. So this was very much expected.
In Russia, authorities said that they thwarted a terrorist act in Zelenogorsk town yesterday. The Federal Security Service detained 2 supporters of a group called Citizens of the USSR. The organization planned to carry out attacks on stations belonging to the state-owned Rostelecom and Transtelecom telecommunication companies.
That's an interesting development. However, the Russian military and defense forces are quite capable of thwarting such minor attacks. However, the risk will remain if these groups do gain momentum, especially buoyed by the opposition, those led by the Ukrainian groups. It is very likely that the Ukraine and the West may be funding some of these groups to destabilize security in mainland Russia.
That's the heads up briefing for today, Bhargav. Thank you.
Thank you. Nothing further from my end.